Well, good Saturday morning, New York Jet fans and NFL fans. It is November 9th, 2024. What time is it? It is 11:17 a.m., and you are watching The Takeoff. My name is Alex, and a little late with a video this week. Usually I do it Thursday or Friday, but a little late. Going to do it today. Trying to get my steps in. I'm also going to be working today. So probably a quick video. So the new week started on Thursday night. Cincinnati and Baltimore. Baltimore pulls out, I believe, a 1-point victory where Cincinnati failed on a 2-point conversion. I will be honest with you. I didn't watch most of the game. I did wake up at the final. I do know there was some talk about why they went for two, and there was a missed or two missed face masks on the plays. So, listen, referee or official calls or non-calls, missed calls have been big the last few years. I don't know if it's because the rules have gotten so quarterback friendly or player friendly that sometimes they overlook a lot of things where just not to call it because they called it so many times. I don't get it. You would think, because of these rules, the face mask on Sam Darnold last week. I believe Burrow had a face mask against him this week. And they're being missed. And they're being missed at crucial parts of the game. So it has to be consistent. Either call it throughout or don't call it at all. I know, it's a human aspect to it. Different refereeing crews call games differently. But, the game itself needs to be called consistently, but listen, the Ravens continue to move up. I believe they are now 7-3. They are in first place. They have swept Cincinnati this year, I believe. So that was a big win. Jets have a big game tomorrow, and you wouldn't think at 3-6 playing the Arizona Cardinals is a big game. But to get the momentum going, to get the momentum continued, they need this game. Now, first of all, I was out to dinner last night, my wife and my daughter, and a lot of players out. C.J. Mosley, again, will not be playing. Michael Carter will be out. I think Conklin is questionable. I mean, there's just a bunch of players who are not playing. Of course, the Jets traded away the wide receiver earlier this week, and Lazard is on injured reserve. So I know they were looking to get rid of the receiver. Did they do it prematurely? Did they do it too early to spite their face? I don't know. But depth at wide receiver right now is a little thin. Yes, you have Davante Adams. Yes, you have Garrett Wilson. That means Curley and Gibson are the next men up, and they got to step in and do their job. I'm hoping that Curley had a humbling event last week. It seems so far ago. It's 9 days today. It's going to be 10 days tomorrow that the Jets last played. They played on Halloween. So you're looking at a week plus. And it's good that we had that time off. But I think you want to keep the momentum going. The momentum of Garrett Wilson's two great one-handed catches, Davante Adams scoring his first touchdown as a Jet, and then also the first win for Ulbrich and Davante Adams since they both took over at their respective roles. It's just, listen, every game now, especially after that loss to the Patriots, you just take as one game at a time, and it's cliche, and see what they do. You got to go in with the expectation Saturday or Sunday that if the Jets could control Kyler Murray, they have the better defense and they should have a better offense. On paper, they do. This should be a win. I called it a win before the season started. This should be a win. Get your running game going. Your offensive line needs to step up. You can talk about Rodgers looking 40 plus Rodgers not looking, engaged. You could talk about all of that, but, Rodgers is running for his life at this point, and there comes a point in a season where things need to turn around. Now, you want to say that Rodgers running for that first down last week that was nullified by a hold, and in the very next play, the one-handed shin in bounds grab by Garrett Wilson was that turnaround? You could say that. You want to say all the sacks they had against Stroud and all the stops they had on defense? You could say that. But it has to happen consistently. The only thing the Jets have done consistently is lose games where they should have been winning. Lose games due to missed field goals and extra points. That has been the only consistency this year. So they won two games in a row early in the season. They were actually 2-1 at one point. People forget that. They're 3-6 now, which means they won one game out of the last 6 they played. Okay? They lost 5 in a row. The way they go on a 5 in a row losing streak, they need to go on a winning streak now. And you get to a winning streak by winning tomorrow and getting 2 in a row. Can't look past the Arizona Cardinals. Tomorrow's like the first late afternoon game that they're playing all season. It's a 4:05 game, I believe, or 4:25 game. I'm not sure what time, but it is the late afternoon slot. They haven't done that all year. They had, I think, 2 1 o'clock games, and then they sprinkled in, Thursday night opening night, Monday night, Sunday night against Pittsburgh, and next week was supposed to be a Sunday night against the Colts, and they flexed that down to a 1 o'clock game. So until they get to week 18, which is the last regular season game and the last home game of the season scheduled right now, they are slated to have the rest of the season, I believe, at 1 o'clock. I think the rest of the games are 1 o'clock. The week 18 game is against Miami. It's a home game for the Jets. Right now it's to be determined, so I'm not sure if it could be, I don't know if there's a Saturday game that weekend, because even the date is to be determined. So is it a Saturday? Is it a Saturday afternoon, Saturday night? Is it a Sunday? Is it a Sunday at 1, Sunday at 4, or Sunday night? So that's to be determined, and that's going to be based on both of those teams' records. But that is as far away as possible as you could get with this season. You still have, 8 games remaining on the schedule. It starts tomorrow with Arizona. And, I'm going to say I'm going into tomorrow's game with we should win. Now, I go into every game feeling that they have a chance to win. I think the only game I really looked at where I was like, we need to play above ourselves was opening day against San Fran. And that was, you had, Monday night, you had San Fran, the defending NFC champs, home opener. You had all the hoopla and everything, and I just don't think they were ready. But that was a different head coach. And that seems so far away ago, so long ago. But anyway, that's where we're sitting now. The Jets are 3-6. They do have a chance to make some moves. Listen, the only thing they can do tomorrow is get to 4-6 with a win, or drop to 3-7. So a 4-7 record is tremendous tomorrow night. So hopefully tomorrow at 7:45 in the evening, 8 o'clock in the evening, the Jets are at 4-7. Buffalo looks like they're running away with this division. They continue to have a 3.5 game lead over the Jets. Right now they have the tiebreaker because they did beat them a few weeks back on Monday Night Football. So it's just, right now it's just been a long season, a season of, if this would have happened, the record is totally different. But you can't go back. You can't change that. You can only move forward. So the past few weeks, we've heard from Woody Johnson, and Woody Johnson. And basically it was Woody Johnson firing Robert Saleh. It was Woody Johnson getting Devontae Adams over here. It was Woody Johnson getting Hassan Reddick signed. And Joe Douglas kind of went to the wayside. You haven't heard from him, but he came out, I want to say either Thursday or Friday. He met with the reporters, met with the media, said that he was disappointed with how the season's going so far. He's not worried about his job security. All he can worry about is getting this team back on track. He said all the right things. So today, I'm driving, and of course I have on the sports channel that I listen to, and they're talking about how the only way Joe Douglas returns as GM is if Jeff Ulbrich returns as coach. So now, I'm going to say this. I don't agree with that. And I'll tell you why. First thing is, Ulbrich was brought in as a defensive coordinator. He was not handpicked by Joe Douglas to be the head coach. He was asked about the firing of Robert Saleh, Douglas, and Joe said that he was on the same page with Woody. So he's not going to talk bad about his boss. Who knows? I mean, it could be that Woody called up Joe and was like, I'm making the move. I'm going to just fire Saleh. And Joe was like, you do what you want to do with your team. I don't know if Joe gave him any pushback. And we'll never find that out as long as, he's still with the team. So that's something we probably won't know for a while. I've got to watch here when I cross the street. My cousin Richie, that was traffic by me, not by you. So if Ulbrich goes on a tear, okay, let's just say, and I'm not going to even use the P word, okay, let's just say Ulbrich and the Jets go on a tear. They put up, after being, 2 and 6 or whatever, they put up a respectable end of the season. I don't know if Ulbrich is still the coach to be here. Right now, as interim, he looks like he's a little bit over his head. I don't know what kind of relationship he has with Aaron, with Rodgers. I don't know. He may not want to be here after this year. It's a very, very complicated situation that this team is in. And I hate that because it seems like every 2 to 3 years we're in a complicated situation. Last year we were in a complicated situation because we had our team based around Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers went down early. So it was a Zach Wilson show the rest of the year. So I don't think Ulbrich and Douglas are joined at the hip. Now, obviously, if Ulbrich goes on a tear and gets more than a respectable record, he may be offered a job first. It may come from Woody. It may be a collaboration with Woody and Joe Douglas. Joe Douglas may want to walk away from this, move on. You look at Douglas's moves, and some of them really, really paid off, and some of them are like, oh, so he has not been that GM, where you'd say, listen, everything he touches turns to gold. He hasn't, but he brought Aaron Rodgers here. Him and Woody did that. He, chose Sauce. He got Garrett Wilson. But there are other picks, that just didn't work. He had an offensive line last year that were probably on AARP. So he has had an unbalanced GM tenure. I personally always felt 2 things. That a GM needs to pick his coach. A GM should not inherit a coach. Now, Ulbrich was inherited by Douglas because Douglas's hire as a coach was let go, obviously. It's Saleh. So that is why he inherited him. Now, going forward, if they're going to do, if they feel they're going to clean house, do you clean house from top to bottom, from GM down, or do you still trust Joe Douglas and say to him, okay, you go out, you're the football person here, and you find me a coach, or give me candidates of coaches, and let's choose it? Or do you get rid of Douglas, and does Woody find his coach? Now, there's a little bit of a wrinkle here, okay? And I don't like to talk politics at all. It is a very touchy subject. I'm so glad this damn election is over. Whether you like the results or not, that we're moving forward. But here it is. Woody Johnson was Donald Trump's ambassador to the UK from 2016 to 2020. Now that he has been elected president again, does Woody Johnson get that call again? And there was a joke a few weeks ago that he wants to be addressed as Ambassador Johnson. So it's almost to me like he knows he's going there, which means that Christopher Johnson, his brother, will take over the day-to-day business dealings of the team. So when Chris Johnson was running the team, that was your Adam Gase, right? Was it Adam Gase? I believe it was Adam Gase at one point. Sam Darnold tenure. Listen, I'm not going to talk bad about the owner. I think the owner and ownership wants to win. It does not serve them any purpose to lose. They make more money when they win. But if there's going to be an overhaul, football people need to be hired to run the football aspect of the team. And I get it. You are the top. You are signing the checks. You should have a say. The ownership should have a say. But ownership should rely on the knowledge and the skill and the experience of football personnel to choose how this team is going forward, to choose the program they're looking at. Now, I don't think Joe Douglas, I think it's a 50-50 shot. I don't think it's, 80-20 he's here. I don't think it's 80-20 he's gone. I just think these last, 8 games playing out have a tremendous input on where he goes, or if he stays. That being said, I think odds are a new head coach will be here next year. Is Joe Douglas right now putting pen to paper, talking to Woody Johnson, saying, I'm looking out for where we're going to be next year? Or is he just letting the season play out? I don't know. But I'm leaning more towards a new coach here next year, because I don't think Ulbrich will be the long-term answer. Listen, I hope I'm wrong. I really do. I hope we can pound out some wins. I hope he can get more comfortable in the role. But I think this team needs a retreaded coach. They need somebody who's been there before. They need somebody who has not only coached in the NFL as a head coaching level, but had some success. There are few and far between right now. Steve Spagnuolo always came to mind. And I know he didn't really have a great head coaching record, but I think he would be a good head coach. He's dealt with New York media. He has a few championships under his belt, to say the least. So he is somebody I look at. But right now, our main concern is tomorrow. Go into Arizona, get the win. We're a better team. We should win this game, and let's move on. Can't go past tomorrow. And again, I can say all these cliches, but bottom line is they should win tomorrow, and they have to win tomorrow. So, basically, those are my thoughts for this week. I think if the Jets get the running game going tomorrow, it'll ease up a lot of pressure on Rodgers, which would be great. And then they could use Adams and Wilson and the rest of their offensive tools in the air. But it starts up front with the offensive line, and it starts and continues with the running back. We'll see how it goes. I'm not going to get too crazy. I said the game on Halloween was a very subdued crowd for 2 quarters plus, but then we started moving forward. So, we'll take it from there. I think the Jets win Sunday. I think they improved to 4-6. We leave it at that. So you are watching The Takeoff. My name is Alex. If you're headed out to Arizona, safe travels. I'd love to see pictures, love to see video, love to hear your input. You can reach us on certain platforms, of course, at Twitter, at The Jets Takeoff is our Twitter handle. You can email us, thejets_takeoff@gmail.com is our email address. You could subscribe to us, and I ask you to subscribe and have your friends subscribe. This is not to make money. This is just to get our video podcast out there. On YouTube, The Takeoff is the account name. At The Jets Takeoff is the channel. Have a great rest of your weekend. Thank you to all you the veterans out there for Veterans Day this weekend. Thank you for your service, and for some of you, your sacrifice, the ultimate sacrifice. Have a great weekend. Have a blessed weekend, a blessed weekend. However you say it, stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll talk to you soon.